kids only get to do high school one time. And I really think that if a student feels like they can manage their time and they can participate in multiple activities, athletics, or even outside of athletics, I think it's up to the adults to make sure that those students have that opportunity. I really don't think students should have to make that choice. I think adults need to work behind the scenes to share athletes, to share students, in order to maximize their experience at their high school.
I think the principal, first of all, through the athletic director, has to establish some clear guidelines as to what his or her coaches can do. For one thing, many of us are dealing with off-campus coaches who may well have a vibrant club activity going on the side, if you will, which may well promote participation on the part of the students. I think you have to make sure that your staff knows that it is inappropriate for you to encourage specific club participation, especially in a particular club. It creates a conflict of interest between your coaches and the students. But I think beyond that, you can also make sure that teams during every season have a certain level of visibility. Everybody loves Friday Night Lights, and high school football is a wonderful experience in the fall each year. But you've also got to promote the other sports to the degree possible on your campus so that students get a sense that to be a vibrant part of the campus community, there's more to do than playing any one particular sport.
I think in this day and age when many athletes, student athletes that is, are singling out specific sports and trying to specialize, I think more than ever it's more important that they should be encouraged to be in more sports. I think that by playing other sports, they get to be with different students that they normally wouldn't hang out with. They'd be with different kind of coaches, different sports, coaching styles. I think it's to their benefit as they get older and they move on in the world. I think studies have shown that student athletes that tend to specialize in individual sports and train for those specific sports are getting injuries a lot more common with older individuals because they're not cross-training, they're not learning, their body isn't being trained to take on injuries, if you will. So I think it's to their benefit to try other sports, to just meet other people, and to just enjoy their high school life.
I definitely believe schools need to encourage multi-sport students, multi-sport student athletes. Definitely in the small school system. At our school we're about 2,200. The students do need to specialize eventually. They will find a sport in which they'd love to go on and play in college, even if it's just for recreation in college. But at high school right now, they need to experience it all. You know, we try to get, and we encourage our ninth graders to get into different sports. That's how they get into the system. That's how they get into finding out new friends, finding out what's going on, finding out who cares about them, what's going on. And from there, coaches encourage them to try multi-sports, see what they like, not just these age-old, I've been playing soccer since 5, I'm only going to play soccer. We try to get them into field hockey, we try to get them into volleyball, we try to get them into softball. In the winter, you know, they can go ahead and play their soccer. In the spring, we want them playing something. Maybe by the time they're juniors and seniors, definitely by the time they're seniors, they have a tendency to specialize because I want to go on from there. But definitely makes it a well-rounded student athlete to stay involved in school through athletics and through the different 3 seasons.
I get so frustrated with parents and coaches and kids that think they're going to be professional athletes. And when we know that statistically that is such a minuscule number, I encourage parents and kids all the time to go look at rosters of major league teams and the NFL and the NBA and see how many of those kids were 2- and 3-sport athletes in high school. And you look at the experience of high school, and it's a one-time deal. And for kids to not experience the vast majority of what can be done, I think is a huge mistake on kids and families' parts.
I think principals need to have direct conversations with coaches on a regular basis, giving that encouragement, but also providing avenues and strategies for coaches to communicate to help those students to be able to participate in all the things that they want to do. So I really think it's just constant conversation and sharing of philosophies and ideas and making sure everybody's on page with what we're trying to do for kids.
One of the things that those of us who've been around a while have looked on with some concern is the growing specialization on the part of athletes who play only one sport and ultimately play that year round. I think if there's anything we're discovering from a health point of view, with ruined knees for young women playing volleyball and ruined arms for young men playing baseball, you need to give your body a rest throughout the year and do something besides your one sport. In terms of the campus climate, I think it's critical that students play on more than one team for their own development. And if you ask any college coach worth his or her snuff, they'll tell you they're looking for that athlete who's done more than just one sport when they're in the process of recruiting.
I think one of the ways is to also encourage a lot of their coaches, whether teacher coaches or walk-on coaches, to be multi-sport coaches. When I went to high school, it wasn't rare for the football coach to also possibly be a baseball coach, or a basketball coach to be a track coach, or the swim coach is also the water polo coach. Right now, I think there's probably too many coaches out there who also, like the students, are specializing in their one sport. I think when you have more coaches that are also multi-sport coaches on campus, not only do they encourage the athletes in what might be their best sport, but they're also showing the rest of the school that, hey, the other sports are important.
As a principal, we'd like them to encourage their coaches to not make that comment if you don't play fall ball, you're not playing, winter ball. If you don't play spring ball, you're not playing fall ball, kind of thing. We try to encourage our coaches. Plus, we have coaches on our campus that are multi-sport coaches, and so therefore it becomes as a coach, as a principal, trying to get the coaches involved in the different sports, that gets the kids involved in the different sports.
I think it's important the principals go to their coaches and say, you will encourage, you will not discourage, and whether it be subtly or subliminally, principals have to push that, and they have to believe that it's a priority. And until principals step in and tell coaches, if I find out you are telling kids they can't be 2 and 3 sport athletes, then your employment might be in jeopardy. I think it has to be that big of a stand. I think it has to be that big of a statement. There's no reason why football kids can't wrestle in the winter and run track in the fall, and why basketball kids aren't playing softball and volleyball in the spring, and why swimmers, it makes me nuts, why swimmers can't play water polo. Well, it's going to screw up their swim stroke. Swimming. I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? So I think it's vital that the principals step in and make a statement and then be accountable for it.
Principals need to control their coaches to some degree. They need to, especially their teacher coaches, need to ask them to curb their out-of-season activities, control their out-of-season activities, make sure they're not overburdening kids that maybe want to play another sport, and encourage them to be able to do that. Most of our kids are not going to be professional athletes. They want to be able to do a variety of things, and I think we really need to promote that with our school and our coaches.